I'm Elizabeth Cookye, CEO Ultimate Secretary of Goddesses Incorporated, and the ultimate mascot, dealing with anything with anime, Bisoujo Senshi, and anything of female in the fighting video game universe. So, this brings us to episode 26, and I call this particular look Tender Geisha Chinese Woman on Concubine Alley. So, on to today's episode, Remembering the Past. So what do I mean by that? The best of the 90s. For those who lived in New York City, the best of the 90s was Easy Everything, Napster, Broadway City, Galactic Circus, Broadway Arcade, Chinatown, when you could buy pirated games and not get caught, Book Off, 42nd Street, when they sold CDs for $7, Kinokuniya, Asahiya. Those were the golden moments of the 90s. When we look back on the 90s and we think about those wonderful, glorious days of Napster, those were the days when we can download anything. When you can download all the anime music you want without getting caught. When you can share P2P file service with anybody all over the world and not have to worry about copyright infringement. Those were the days truly of liberated music in the anime world and in any society in general. Napster was the god of music downloading. When Napster got shut down, then people started looking for other downloading agents such as iMesh or WinMX, but they didn't have the same edge as Napster did. That's because Napster searched the globe. However, there was another music program that actually had great service at the time, and it was Audio Galaxy. Now what that did was, it forced you to download this little satellite from the website, and then you would install the satellite, and the satellite would pick up the music from the site that you're looking for. Guaranteed that the site had the music that you wanted, the satellite would receive the signal from its own website and its library and pick up the music and download it onto your hard drive. Then eventually, of course, Audio Galaxy got shut down. So now that we're here in the 2000s, or the mark of the millennium, we have iMesh, but of course, like iMesh and all those other legal downloading sites, they give you the Google toolbar and all the spyware and Trojan horses one can ever admire. Don't we just love P2P service now? So now everybody's forced to use torrents because a lot of the torrents are not traceable. But wouldn't it be nice to go back to the time when we could use Napster again? So what about Book Off? Book Off's glorious days in the mid and late 90s is when you can go and buy anime CDs for $7. When they had a huge manga selection for $3. When they had a huge VHS selection. You know, I recall that VHS selection being heavily expensive. Now it's not expensive like it used to because now Book Off actually sells DVDs. Go fig. They had to go and update eventually. So what about Broadway Arcade and Broadway City and Galactic Circus? Eventually, those arcades got shut down thanks to you-know-who, Giuliani, who was stupid. Instead of just getting rid of all the porno shops on 42nd Street, he felt that arcades was contributing to all the gangster activity that was happening in high schools. If Giuliani knew anything about the video game and anime world, he would understand that that had nothing to do with what was going on in the high schools, that the high school beef between two different boroughs totally has nothing to do with video games and anime, but of course he's stupid. We're not even going to go there. But take some time to remember the past. Remember the good. If we could go back, what would you do? If we could go back, what moment in your life would you relive? I think that if I went back to the wonderful, glorious early days of the 90s, I think I would go back to when Mortal Kombat 3 first came out in the arcades. That's my moment. When Toys R Us had a line all the way around the block because Mortal Kombat 3 for Super Nintendo and Genesis was sold out. So people resorted to buying for Game Boy and Game Gear. When the arcade revolution was really big, that you would find yourself singing the music to the arcade as you're walking to the arcade, and when you got there was tons of challenges because at that time the technology that we have now didn't exist then, so you had to go to the arcade to experience that technology because we didn't have it at home. Yes, the arcade world is dying slowly. So what does it say about our internet? Soon that'll be dying slowly too. And soon, collecting physical CDs will become a bigger thing. Why? Because fiber optics will soon be taking over in the next couple of years. Could you imagine downloading your games onto your console instead of buying them in the store? So that means the CDs and DVDs that you have now will be worth something much longer down the line because it will become much more of a collector's item. So that's our episode 26. Remember the past. What part would you relive in the world of anime, video games, music, or just the 90s in general? What part would you relive? What part would you change? What part would you bring back? So go ahead. Remember the past. Remember the 90s. Yes. It's a cookie!